Hello, and welcome to News You Can Use. I'm your host, Patty Nash. Today we are joined by Mr. Don Baker, CEO of FAME, which stands for the Forum to Advance Minorities in Engineering. Welcome, Mr. Baker.
Thank you for having me, Patty. Appreciate it.
We're excited to hear about your program today. So tell us a little bit about FAME and what your mission is.
Absolutely. For you and your viewers at home, FAME, we refer to FAME as an institution, especially here in Delaware. FAME was founded in 1976 by the DuPont Company, and quite simply, we were founded because there was a lack of women and other underrepresented minorities in sciences and in engineering. We started really focusing on students that were 11th and 12th grade students with the hopes of taking, almost cherry picking, taking the cream of the crop and steering them to colleges that focus specifically on engineering, like University of Delaware at the time, and the sciences. So that's how we got our start. Fast forward now, going into our 41st year, we've broadened our scope while we still focus on high achieving students. We now have ventured off into serving any and all students through an initiative called Stimulate Change, STEM for the folks at home, Stimulate Change. And it's been a great 5 years now looking at how we can take any student and translate their skills or even encourage them and excite them to know that they can be a part of this entire STEM movement that we're seeing, because we've got a lot of families and a lot of students who feel like STEM is this high, unobtainable thing, but you and I know that there's STEM in everything that we do right now.
For those that don't know, STEM stands for what?
Thank you. Science, technology, engineering, and math. And I apologize, because when you're living this, sometimes
right.
those acronyms kind of just
But
jump out.
it is the big trend in education these days.
It is, and I have some of my colleagues here with me, Ms. Heredia and Ms. Lewis, and they strategically focus on who we can build partnerships with. One of the things I did not say that I do need to mention, because I'm in your house, is that Red Clay has been a partner for us for close to 35 years.
Oh, terrific.
The same with the University of Delaware. So Red Clay and the University of Delaware have been around since we started. In fact, some of the administration from Red Clay helped to found Forum to Advance Minorities in Engineering. So STEM has been called METS. They've taken math and engineering, and it's been called a lot of different things. But don't be fooled, to your folks at home, to the viewers at home, parents and students. Math is always important, science is always important, and knowing how to communicate, which is that ELA, working as a team. All of those things are vital. So don't get caught up in the acronym and the razzle dazzle of what we know as a movement. You have to have a foundation, and this is all part of a foundation.
Well, we found when we went to a district-wide taking of the SAT, this is just a little example, that students who did not think they could go to college did better on the SAT than they thought, and guess what? In fact, yes, they can go to college.
Yes.
So I think it's the same type of convincing that you have with your students that you're trying to reach, that yes, you can be a science major,
Absolutely.
a math major, learn high-level writing and interviewing skills to communicate, that it is not, as you said, just for the top echelon of our students.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we encourage, again, specifically parents and younger students, is to try to steer away from totally talking and writing in text language, understanding that there is a technical writing skill. And we start that very early, through Stimulate Change, some of the schools that we're focused in, BALTS and Noun Heritage and, even schools in different districts, we want students very early to understand that they can write with a purpose, and it doesn't have to be for grade all the time with us because we are out of school,
Right.
summer and after school. For us, it is taking that idea of something simple as making a sneaker and understand what are the steps in that process, because this is how you learn scientific and technical writing.
Sure.
And we're not heavy on this. We keep it fun, so it's project based. PBL, it's all hands on. We want to really excite and encourage every student to know that there is something in this world that they can do, and to show them as early as possible, not just see, specifically for minority students, not just see yourself as an athlete or an entertainer, and for girls to know you can become an engineer, you can become a scientist. And one of the other important things that we do, even for our mainstream students, if we look at boys, period, our boys need to understand that girls very early on, and certainly girls are usually a little bit more mature than guys in the early years, but to know that just because you love math and science doesn't mean that you are this rare unicorn animal, and that you can't be successful at a career that also includes math and science. We've done some third-party research over the past few years, and we do pre and post testing. So when we go in and talk to a student, initially they may say, oh, why am I taking this math? Because they can't see how it's connected to the real world. But by the end of our sessions and our modules, it turns out that students say, well, I didn't know that it took math to get us to the moon. And I love aerospace, or I love, all of these things. So we really try to tie it in very closely to something that they can touch and feel and know that there is an opportunity to have fun, but to be successful in a career.
Yeah, I didn't know that math got us to the moon as much until I saw Hidden Figures. Then
Yes.
I realized how much math had to do with it. And not only that, but who can do math?
Absolutely.
So you graciously have already mentioned Red Clay, but who are some of your partners?
So we've partnered over the years with Boys and Girls Clubs. We've partnered with PAL Centers. We've partnered with Brandywine School District. Appaquiddick is a school district that we've had partnership with. Nonprofit organizations, community members, and now hopefully very soon we'll be having the ability to come straight into a home and to work or show some project-based learning applications straight to the home. So we partner with everyone. Our core program, as we like to call it, those are those high-flying students. They come from every district in Newcastle County primarily. They come from parochial, private homeschool. So we work across the board to make sure that, again, students and families, one, understand what STEM opportunities are, two, that they feel like they're a part of that, and three, for them to learn about even some of the industry that is local and national.
Right.
Because we've got a lot of science here, we've got a lot of engineering here,
Yes.
whether it's currently working or whether it's retired or what have you. There is a lot of resource here, right here in Delaware and this tri-state area.
Okay, great. Tell us a little bit about, because would like to know more about the program. Do you come in and teach kids? Do you put on a seminar type program? What do the programs look like?
So our core program, again, that's for that 7th through 12th grade and beyond, while they're in college. That is a out-of-school activity, so usually it's 6 weeks in the summer. Our 7th through 10th graders are with us currently at AI High School. Our 11th and 12th graders get a very unique opportunity. They actually spend 4 weeks as a resident at the University of Delaware.
Oh, nice.
So they're actually living as a college student while they're in high school, which is
very
tremendous, a
nice.
great benefit. And then during the school year, we have what we call our maintenance for, again, that core program, where it's the first and third Saturday. I remember, I'm an alum, so I remember this very well as a student, what it meant to start, as a 7th grader going, through summer, and you're thinking, oh, I'm getting my summers taken away from me. But by the time I was in 9th grade, I'd made a core group of friends, and I loved it. Didn't want to be separated. Now, on our Stimulate Change side, we also operate within those same parameters where it's out of school, summer again. Usually those are 5-week modules
Okay.
where our students will learn very specifically about a career, and it's a curriculum that's tied to what we call global or American icons. And that's very specific in purpose. We wanted to be, actually, we're one of the nation's first, if not the first, to tie this curriculum to show students that girls, underrepresented minority groups, as well as mainstream folks, have had great successes and made great contributions to science, technology, engineering, and math.
Sure.
And through that, these students learn, again, history. There's some ELA and literacy moments, but the focus primarily is on that math, science, and tech. They're working, creating, again, using their hands, creating projects, and it all wraps up in that 5 weeks, at the end of the 5 weeks, in what we call a culmination event.
Okay.
So parents are invited to come finally put the pieces to the puzzle together, because we've had parents who are, why do they keep talking about asteroids and comets and all of this stuff? But they get to learn and see what their student has done. So we engage, we excite, we experiment, and then we empower.
Okay. What are some of your success rates? What have your students gone on to do?
Absolutely. So I put this 99% number out there, but 99% because we can't say 100%. Of our alumni who have gone all the way through our core program go on to go to college. Now I'll talk a little bit.
Wow.
I'll talk a little bit about the changes, because some folks would think this is blasphemous, but our world is changing, and not everyone has to go to college to be successful. We're learning that more and more. But for us, 99% of our students are going to colleges, and they're going to high-level colleges. Not all are going into engineering or STEM. I mean, we have attorneys, we have business folks.
Sure.
We have roughly 1,200 members of our alumni group who are,
They probably feel,
very
if I can
successful.
do this level math and science, I can do anything. It's a confidence
Absolutely.
booster for these kids.
Absolutely. Confidence booster. And the other thing, too, is that, sometimes when people see minorities who are, in a program or in a space, they think automatically urban economics are an issue. Not all of these kids. Some of their parents are engineers. Some of their parents worked for DuPont in the heyday, and
Right.
Overall, though, what we look to do is elevate people.
Okay.
Elevate people. The other piece of that Stimulate Change curriculum, which is so key, is for the young male who's growing up and still carries what is kind of an old school mentality of, oh, a girl can't be this. It's
Right.
great for them to see.
That's still around, that old
It is.
school
It is still
mentality.
around. I mean,
Call
we see it
old
in
school.
we see it in pay. We see it in all of that.
Yep.
But it's great for them to really have an understanding that, Latinos, African Americans, Native Americans, Asian Americans, as well as Caucasians, have all made significant contributions. And the faster we can get our students and the younger we can get them to work together and understand that, the better we ultimately are as a
Sure.
country, as a nation, because we know how to work together. We know that you've done great things, and he's done great things, and she's done great things. So that's a big piece of what we do, is really building what we call cultural competency.
And how do you recruit your students?
So with our partnerships through our schools, currently we have an application process where, in this case, I work really closely with Superintendent Doherty. He has some very, very high goals, lofty goals as it relates to STEM and tech. And we came in and said, what can we do for your students? We had a focus on that 4th through 6th grade group, and now we're going further back down. will be K by the end of this year. And we just really said, what are your goals? Where do they match with ours? Sometimes schools like to identify groups of students, but we are always cautioning schools to make sure that everyone knows that it's open for them, and that even though our name historically says minorities, we serve everyone, and especially through this Stimulate Change initiative, it is imperative that our families and our students understand that if they can get great teachers, and that's the other part,
Sure.
we hire fantastic faculty members. 90+% of them are certified teachers or they're in the industry. And the sooner we can get them connected to a great teacher and this powerful curriculum, the quicker we're on our way to doing great things. And that's something that we've keyed on. So application, we provide that to the schools. We work really closely with the schools. And then the rest is us getting parents aware of what the opportunities are.
You need a little fame.
Need a little fame. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Forgive me for that stupid pun. But what are some of the challenges you face? I'm sure that it's not, 100%
No,
easy
it's not.
task.
It's not rosy. I'll work through this in a little bit different manner. So I'll talk about challenges, but I'll talk about something that has been very good. We are now realizing as a society that education does not happen in one place. Education doesn't stop at the school. And that has been a challenge. And I think, folks at home understand that this is a challenge that, we're taught to think that when you're out of school, you can relax, you can chill out,
Right.
There is a huge cross-section of this country in academia that is now saying that learning is an ecosystem. I can learn at the library. I can learn at the museum. For girls and other groups, it's really important that they get additional educational support outside of school.
Sure.
And a lot of people get exposure outside of school. So that was a challenge for a long time, to be able to connect out of school to in school. And now we're seeing that barrier start to go away. Economically, some of the schools have resources. Some charters have resources, some don't. Some public schools have resources. We seek to scale what we're doing. And by scaling, I essentially mean proving that out of school and after school time can be a time where you can see significant gains that then come back into the classroom and have a positive impact for teachers and behavior. So those things and the realizing of those things. Money, always a challenge.
Sure.
Is there money in a budget to be able to sustain programming? One of the things that we uniquely do is partner with the school. Yes, the school brings some dollars and cents to the table, but we've also in the past piloted programs where we've paid for it to get things started. Parents sometimes, not necessarily the students, parents can be an obstacle. Some parents think, well, if it's this group leading it, I don't know. We've had to work through that. Quite frankly, we've had to work through, does an organization who has minorities in their name represent everyone? And I think that the pleasing thing for us has been that everywhere we go, the first thing that parents who might be, a little nervous about putting their girl or boy who doesn't look like maybe the Latino or African American student who's been our primary target in the past, first thing they realize is that this is quality. And these people know what they're doing. And they've been around for a very long time. And I think slowly, the worries and concerns go away because they understand that we're experts in the field, that we've researched this, that we've got, the support of districts, we've got the support of the university, and that we've been doing what we do very well for a long time. So, that last barrier, because I think that is the last barrier, is making sure that your clients and your customers feel comfortable. That last barrier, once that's away, the learning begins, and you just see that rocket ship take off, and it's away to the moon after that.
Okay. And how far is your reach? You mentioned Appoquinimink, so you go south of the canal. But
Yes.
Is it statewide? Is it mostly?
So historically, we have been statewide, and in the
Okay.
past several years, we've worked statewide. But right now, we're looking to really broaden our reach and our scope. Again, it's about making sure for us that we have the right faculty and the right
Okay.
partners. I travel nationwide. We're also working on some out-of-state projects because folks are highly interested in our curriculum. We've been asked now to institute our curriculum during the school day, which is a great accomplishment.
Sure.
But we travel, my team travels, and we certainly are willing to talk to anyone who's interested. I'd be remiss if I didn't say, folks can visit us online at www.famedelaware.org.
And we'll put that up.
Absolutely. But we are about education, and we're about students.
Okay. And where do you meet? In the schools?
We do.
Okay.
Generally we operate again. The model is we like to call it an intelligent model. The model really is designed for us to be almost a bridge back to schools, because again, some of the families that we serve, no matter what the ethnicity is, no matter what the gender is, some of those families may have a grandmother who's raising grandchildren, and they might not have had a great school experience. So they're a little nervous about coming back into the school, but we've served in the past as a facilitator, to a bridge back to a science teacher.
Right.
Because that parent might not have liked science, but when their student comes home having put their hands on things and there's not grades involved, and we do little cool things to incentivize students, we help, bridge a gap for some. So schools, community-based organizations, we've worked, again, like I said, with places like PALS and Boys and Girls Clubs, and, we just try to make sure that if there are students somewhere and a willing partner, we'll bring the curriculum and the faculty, and let's have at it.
Okay. Does it start at the beginning of the year? So let's say that a parent is watching right now and
Yes.
thinks their child may be interested. You've got to sign up for the start of the school year.
Not at the start of school year, because of the way we have been operating with some of our partners. So let's take Red Clay, for instance. In the fall, which is closer to the beginning of the year, where those schools are that we're located in, we usually do like an open house.
Okay.
So we'll go to, their parent day or something like that, and we'll tell folks what the opportunity is. But then again, when winter break ends, we usually come back in January, February, and parents may get information sent home. We try not to send it home through students, because sometimes that's a fail.
And the older they are, the less likely parents are to see.
Absolutely, but we try to communicate so that they know
Right.
what the opportunities are. And I think there's some more room for us to use our website and certainly partner with the districts to say that we are here.
Right, registration is happening
Absolutely,
now.
all of those things are possibilities, and hopefully, with the support of the district, we'll be having a show coming soon where folks might be able to chime in and do a little learning in a very fun, charismatic way.
Okay. Last question. What about summer programs? Is registration coming up for that?
So we're actually in the talks. If I again take the district, we're in the talks with doing something this summer for Red Clay students. Our core program registration is open. The applications are online for both the University of Delaware as well as our core program.
Okay.
So folks again can visit our website. They can call our office 302-2. I'm about to give my cell phone out.
Don't do that.
302-777-3254.
Okay.
But the website is the best way, because they can download it and
Okay.
do it at their leisure. February 15th through April 15th is the application period.
Okay, parents, so it's happening right now. If you want your child to be
Yes.
involved in a program that we can say almost 100%.
We can, if they stick to it.
99%
If they stick to it.
if they stick to it, end up going to college.
Yeah.
Or having a career right out of high school that, like a technical career or something like that, students can make a good living.
Absolutely. So let me take 1 minute on that.
Okay.
1 minute on that. This is key for parents again, and I like to kind of talk to the camera sometimes about this.
Help yourself.
So if you have a student at home, because again, money and even some of the students who we've seen over the years, not everyone has to go to college. I mean, we see things now like stackable credentials. That is essentially, I can go to an IT program and begin at level 1 and end at level 4 and finish
Certificate
with
programs.
finish a certificate program
Right.
without college debt.
Yes.
Now, college gives you some very unique experiences.
Sure.
And it prepares you. Engineering, usually you got to go to college because there are some skill sets that you have to develop. But there are jobs today that we're seeing, especially in IT, that do not feel like you're hopeless, don't feel like you're at a loss. We all have gone through highs and lows. There is enough opportunity in this world today because there are jobs that haven't even been created yet that your student, your child, that you can take advantage of, and we just try to help facilitate that.
Yeah, it's never a bad thing to learn something.
That's right.
It really isn't. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Telling us about FAME. I'd heard the name for a long time, and now I know a lot more about it.
Thank you.
And hopefully you at home have learned a lot more about it. We're going to put up the phone number and the website again if you'd like your child to get involved. And please stay with us because when we come back, I'm going to have some dates for you to remember. There's a lot coming up in the Red Clay School District, so please stay with us. And
You are watching EdTV.
When?
Now.
You are watching EdTV.
You're watching EDTV. EdTV, okay.
It doesn't look like a big Go. That's all, folks.
What if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
hello, and welcome back to News You Can Use. There's a lot going on this spring in Red Clay, and I'd like to tell you about a couple of events coming up. First of all, we're going to be holding district-wide early kindergarten registration. All Red Clay elementary schools will hold events on Wednesday, April 26th, and Thursday, May 11th, from 4 to 6:30 p.m. to register children for the incoming kindergarten class. The purpose of these events are to increase early kindergarten enrollment at all schools and to begin building relationships with families, to assess students to make informed decisions as Red Clay builds the classes, and to provide families with materials that'll help you prepare your students for kindergarten. Now, events are going to look different at each school depending on the needs and the type of community, but all will feature staff members present to provide snacks and fun events for the students, such as crafts and games. So that's the late afternoon, early evening of April 26th and May 6th. I hope you can join us. Choice letters have gone out. The Red Clay Board of Education approved choice applications for the 2017-2018 school year at the February board meeting, allowing for the letters and emails to go out on or before February 22nd. Christine Bewley, manager of the district's Information Systems Department, which oversees choice, reported that the district received 3,324 choice applications, an increase of 38 applications from last year. The majority of the applications, as usual, are for the break grades of 6th and 9th. Applications were received for all Red Clay schools, and 36% of the applications came from students living in 9 other districts. So what you should be looking for is a letter. 1883 students will receive a choice invitation through letter or email, and 1813 will be put on wait lists. Now, all wait lists are maintained until the first day of the 2017-2018 school year. There's some important dates to remember in the process. The 15th, when the board approved the choice report. The 22nd, when letters and emails will be sent. And the March 17th date, which is the deadline for parents to accept the choice application invitation. If you do not accept by March 17th, the invitation will be considered refused. The district does send letters to parents to remind them that the deadline is coming up. We're also hosting a child abuse prevention conference in Red Clay this spring. Parents, educators, and the community are invited to attend this 2-day conference on the prevention of child abuse, which will be held on March 31 and April 1 at Cab Calloway School of the Arts, 100 North DuPont Road, Wilmington. The Red Clay Regional Conference on the Prevention of Child Abuse and Neglect is presented by the district, the News Journal, the Bo Biden Foundation for the Protection of Children, and Prevent Child Abuse Delaware. On Friday, March 31, there will be a speaker and panel discussion from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. On Saturday, April 1, there will be a series of workshops from 7:30 a.m. to noon. The event is free, but space is limited for the workshops and registration is required. For more information, you can go to rcchildabuseprevention2017.com to register, and we'll put that address up there for you. Coming up is the 2nd annual Red Clay Hall of Fame Gala. 10 Red Clay teachers, administrators, and community leaders will be inducted into the newly created Red Clay Hall of Fame at the 2nd annual gala to be held on March 23 at the Executive Banquet and Conference Center in Newark. The dinner is open to the public. Seats are $40 per person and are available by visiting the Red Clay website at redclayschools.com or by calling Maria Stevens at 302-552-3703. The inductees this year for their contributions to Red Clay are teachers Rosemary Banks, Lee Davis, and Mark Donovan, administrators Reggie Lacefield, Tony Orga, and John Tetramano, Nancy Weaver, and community members Yvonne Johnson, Ralph Kubler, and Jay Street. Coming up very soon is the 8th annual Red Clay College Fair, which will be held on Tuesday, March 14 from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at John Dickinson High School. This event is also free and open to the public. The College Fair provides information to assist families with the college application process. Close to 70 exhibitors will be available to answer questions, and students will be introduced to college admission counselors from regional colleges and universities who will give presentations on financial aid, scholarships, the SAT, and the college application process. Red Clay will offer free bus transportation from Wilmington to the College Fair. There is a complete list of locations and times on the district website. For more information, you can call 302-552-3700. And that's all we have for today on News You Can Use. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.